A wonderful day cutting grass. Bela is collecting his poor rabbit food for the winter. Well, I wasn't just cutting grass, just to make certain that people are fully aware of my mental capacity. I spent part of the day pruning and hand weeding my little acacia forest underneath my number 3 or 4 walnut. And not being able to speak a word of Hungarian, and Bela not being able to speak a word of English, he told me that rabbits love acacia leaves. So there you go. That's part of the answer to breeding pastured rabbits. I'd like to get some of his giants. Carry on the 44-year history he's began. Although he spent 44 years breeding rabbits that can't survive on grass, he does know and was able to get across to me that apparently rabbits love acacia leaves. So there's you go. And these two little bodza, we saved them too. These are bodza. So there you go. A nice little hand weeded, pruned acacia forest. And here we go. As promised, as projected, we're ready for chicken pasture on the main field here. Although we have no chickens. It's a little rough. And there's only a month or two of grass, probably, by the time this grows up for chickens to eat. But we could have pastured it with goats too. But it wouldn't have gotten quite as good a job as what you're able to do with the blade attachment on the weed. The string trimmer, it's a wonderful thing. You can, as I've said a million times, you can just, you know, there's a guy that's been dead for a couple years but still was hanging on. I was able to chop him right off at the ground, and all the little saplings and suckers that came up around him. We're ready for chickens, pasture, or we're ready for cardboard. One or the other, take your pick. I think this nice, I kind of made that decision in the last few days. Instead of fooling around underneath all the trees, just go ahead and put in the big field quickly as possible. By the time we get the trailer, it'll be mid-September. Or we'll get it maybe before that, but I won't be able to use it because my wife is coming for 2.5 weeks or something. So other than a few ceremonial loads, we'll go and get together. There won't be anything laid down until mid-September, and then who knows what the weather will hold for us. So yeah, hacking away a little bit at the back here too. It's a nice big field here too, but it's the thinnest grass. It's the weak. It's obvious, you know. It's the most pathetic spot. Not that it's pathetic, but comparatively to the rest of the property. The grass isn't as thick, the weeds aren't coming in as good, there's hardly any trees and bushes. There's one of the old stumps we dug up, not necessarily, and dragged here with a cart. Goats will climb on it one day, they'll like it, a little play toy for them. Saved a few walnuts and rose hips here and there, whatever. We might hack them off with the blade, or not, we'll see. We're not quite sure yet. We haven't had a survey where our property line is, but I thinned these poor pathetic little volunteer sunflowers. Volunteer stuff sometimes isn't, sometimes is good and sometimes it's not. There's that lovely little cherry that busted earlier. I think she's healed up without even me bothering her. I'll go over here and check her out and resplit it. Yeah, you can't see from here. You can see the nice big split. Need a non-zoom or back zoom or something. But she seems to be, she's solid. She's healed back up. She'll be permanently scarred. But she's just a little higher than me this year. She needs some work. But technically she's about an inch onto the church property. Church has some lovely fruit trees scattered about. I should have taken pictures of this yellow plum here a week ago. It was just a solid yellow. Nobody's looking after them. Not a Bela doesn't even eat the fruit. I nipped a couple apples off this tree the other day. They're good. My own are good too, but they're not quite ripe. Yeah, so there's the beginnings of one little garden there. Compost pile. Brush, prunings, material storage. I don't know if I'll ever get a chipper to come again or not. Build a goat barn there or something and just let the goats eat it. Let the chickens paw through it after the goats are done with it. There's a very unique apple. Beautiful little tree. 1 in a million. Bela's stupid racks in the way. But if you can see it, she's about 3 inches tall. And then 4 or 5 branches come out and she lays right on the ground almost. You actually have to bend down to pick apples. But look at them. Very nice. Sun's in your eyes a bit here, folks. Sorry. Here's another little nitrogen dump. I'll leave it right here in the middle of the garden amongst these trees. Again. Hale is donating some old hay. That little area there. It's a nice passageway to the neighbor, but I'm gonna plant corn there. Corn on either side of those acacia. This walnut here didn't have any volunteer acacias. Well, I saved a nice couple here. Yeah, sun again. The grapes are an utter mess. I don't know what to do. I haven't had time or the inclination. I know kind of what to do. Get some stakes, get some wire, get them up off the ground. But they're growing, whatever. We can prune them back. Prune them back to something like that and then build proper frame. This tree is just protecting these guys. When I back in here, if I didn't let you do that tree, I'd back over that thing, I'd forget about it and back over it and kill it. This silly volunteer watermelon choking out my onions. There's my spinach patch, folks. I've had 20 meals a day for the last 60 days off those 2 pathetic little rows of spinach. That's second crop onion there. Second crop kohlrabi. There's my biggest one. It'll be ready first. Oh, this guy's been attacked by something. There's probably number 2. Nice big. He's choking out my onions too. I have a tendency to plant too close together. figure these things out. Here's my number one. Oh yeah, speaking of, yes, nitrogen sink, bee pasture, rabbit food, dog shaded area. We can get wood off it every year. Keep them small. The point is to keep them below the walnut. So I was thinking I'd prune them and, you know, just chop up. But we now know we can feed rabbits. Obviously, goats, chickens would have tore through it. But rabbits is it's a good thing too. One of my cardboard sinks. Just some random stuff that I shoved in from other places and some stuff that grew up. Finally got some mulch down around ye old walnut. Whoop, way too close. I'd love to prune this tree too. She's got some dead branches. She's got some. She's a little old to be pruned, but wouldn't hurt her. That guy was most recently transplanted. He'll survive. My little water wash station would have been more appropriate here than up there. Anyway, that's the last of my last load of chips I had. There's my wonderful little string trimmer. She's been the bee's knees. There's that ugly stump gone. This must be a Bodza too then. That must be the final. That must be a Bodza. There's the house garden. Got a bit carried away there. It's a little deep. A little bit deeper than it needs to be. And it's lower here too. If I brought that out level, I'd have to put probably 2.5 feet here at the lowest point. But it's got to kind of grade down the driveway area there. You can see the top of the stump there. Up to what I was going to use in my first grade to try and level it out, and then maybe another couple inches above that. So if I go with that, it won't be so bad. I'll get 6 to 8 inches here, and it's all good dirt here anyway. A lot of dirt. Covered some roots up there with the nice stuff that fell off the stump. Constantly was tripping and kicking this thing and stubbing my toe on it. Here's the oat crop. My manure source. Threw some just slightly wet oats on his manure pile. So I just mulched this area, just slightly, just about 1 inch. And as I hoped, the oats came right up through it. So the hole, it's about 8 inches deep there. It's probably just plugged full of green stuff. Here's my pathetic little cabbages. There was 5 of them growing right here. I transplanted them earlier today. There's one there. One guy there, he got 8 off. It was just too, manure was too fresh. Burnt it right to a crisp. Some of these guys somehow survived, so. Same as this. Planted this stuff, kohlrabi and stuff, I don't know what. Nothing. Just nothing. But next year it'll be a different story. Trimmed a little bit of the neighbors. The neighbors giving their land a 365-day vacation. I don't know if it's not any better than the plow as far as I'm concerned. I may as well plow it up and planted corn here and got something out of it rather than a bunch of weed seeds. I'm doing the same thing there as what the old man there has done. I don't know exactly where the property line, but I left my straight line and slipped over a couple inches onto his property, possibly, who knows. But whatever. It's all between friends. It's hard to say where it is. Look at that. Where do you say the property line is? That post, maybe. That would mean where I'm standing. Who knows where the other end is, though. So, whatever. They don't use it anyway. They don't. Well, that's a personal opinion. Some people might not like that. But I'm just going to waste. Clean this area up. Once again, hack her all down, cut her off. Easier every time. Saving those little guys. Here's my... I'm going to try and grow roots. The peach needs more mulch. She's in a terrible spot. But she's almost like that apple tree. She's only a couple inches tall and everything comes out from there, but she's not laying on the ground like the other. Some of those raspberries, again, same thing. They're stuck in, they're saved, they're alive. They're here. Some of them are blackberries too. They're all falling over. Strawberries are doing good. Look at that guy. He just needed a little help. Look at that. That's a tomato. More strawberries. This is an ideal spot for strawberries. And then there's none here. And then there was one here. One here. A couple here. A couple there. The more I pulled the grass, the more they started to pop up. Give them a chance of making it. Here's one honey bunches of flowers. Poor thing, I pushed it over once just to cut the weeds around it with the string trimmer, and she never had the gumption to come back up, stand up straight. She will one day. Here's one of our beautiful plums up on this rotten house foundation. A couple more grapes found here underneath this big one that we got a stake, but they're still just, that's not the way they're supposed to grow. It's out of control. This tree's got some potential. Of course, another walnut. Gonna shade them out. Here's some honey bunches, lovely flowers. Little tree, bushy thing. Doesn't quite know what it is. Depends. It's entirely up to the owner, I guess. If you let it grow big, it will go into a tree. Another little mess of grapes and stuff here. But here's that stupid sidewalk we're gonna deal with. Again, not one of our, it's gonna be a lot of work. Not one of our highest priorities. But we're just gonna make, I'm just gonna make that a gentle slope instead of, I'm not gonna dig that out with a machine and haul it away and throw it in a dump. I'm just gonna, here's my mushroom medium. Someday I might get some spores. One little walnut on the front fence line, right at the well. Yeah, I gotta do something there. There's a beautiful little cherry. Gotta do something with this front fence and well at some point in time. Another little raspberry sanatorium here. It's wet here. The water all runs down. It was wet here. It was nice. It's one of the few places I had. I figured they might have a chance of surviving when I was saving them. There's another couple stumps. I don't know if the old Scoto will be able to pull that girl. There's that ugly, horrible mess of where the summer kitchen was. Believe it or not, this is better. Nicer than it was. When it was a big, horrible mess. Another walnut. stockpile of roots. It's another area. There was some naturally growing here. Raspberries and stuff. Some I shoved in. There's one that died. But there's a beautiful blackberry there. I ate them. So they look like they're red, but they're actually blackberries. And we got a volunteer tomato and a volunteer watermelon and raspberries and strawberries I put in there. Some of it's chips, some of it got manure, obviously, where the volunteer stuff was. I threw a little manure in there. Raspberries are growing laterally, but they're growing. We'll deal with them. Some of these guys are 8, 10, 12 feet long. I got 3 bricks on one. There's several. We'll get 3 or 4 plants out of one. This guy here, he grew up here and ran into this stone, and then he turned around, went the other direction, and he wasn't quite long enough. I can't get him into the dirt without hurting him. I should bring some dirt to him, I guess. Well, that would be a good place for root to grow in, and we'll carry on. Another little bodes or something. Gonna grow a root. Oh yeah, I put another one in today. No roots yet. It's only 2 days. But that's a nice little spot there, shady, but you get sun. That guy I did this morning is kind of wilty. He may not be sucking it up, but the bodes is very porous wood. I think we'll get roots on them, if nothing else. So yeah, this mess is a little better. Covered some stumps there, uncovered some pretty good dirt there. The well, it's not a barbecue, folks. It's just a mark, better, far better, nicer, cleaner marker for the well. And the mulberry tree. Couple little trees there we didn't kill. They can grow. Don't always kill a tree. Later. You don't have to do it right away, folks. Yeah, this is, see, there's some more oats. But I put like 3 or 4 inches. That was what I was shooting for. All that was that same manure seed with oats. And I put 3 or 4 inches of chips on it, and she didn't make it through. I didn't think it would, but I was hoping it would. Hoping it would. Oh well. So yes, just random looking around. Bela, poor guy, cutting his grass for his poor old rabbits. But he, look at the nice donation. Put all this old crappy grass. This was all acacia here too. I chopped them off with an axe. So it should be loaded with nitrogen. It's been acacia for 20 years, so the whole area is just dripping in nitrogen. So we'll cardboard that, manure, chips, some fish meal maybe if Buddy comes through in large supply. And Bob's your uncle, as they say. Good night, folks.